Good morning, and thanks once again for allowing me to share these moments with you as we again begin a new day together. You know, it's a privilege to be able to be the first one in line. I've stood in line at airports probably more times than I can count, watching the privileged frequent flyers and the first class passengers board ahead of me to their better seating positions and in some cases more luxurious accommodations. Colossians 1:15 says that he is the firstborn of all creation. Thinking of our aircraft boarding illustration, this sounds as though Jesus is the first one in line ahead of everyone else. And if that's true, that puts him ahead of the line even before Adam, who we read about being the first created man. Now, in the original language of the Bible, the word firstborn emphasizes first in importance. So thinking again of our aircraft illustration, we might think of Jesus as the first officer rather than the first person in line to board the plane. So some passengers may board the aircraft ahead of the first officer, but the first officer is called such because of his importance, regardless of when he actually boards the plane. A prophecy about God's Messiah, God's Son, is found in Psalm 89, verse 27, and it helps to clarify. It says, "I also shall make him my firstborn, the highest of the kings of the earth." Clearly, this refers to Messiah's position of importance rather than anything to do with time. Now, in Colossians 1:17, we read that he is before all things. Again, Jesus is not the first in line by time, but first in importance. Now, the important point in all of this for us is this, that if Jesus is this important in our Heavenly Father's plans and perspective, then how can he be most important to us? How can we place him at the head of the line, so to speak, in our lives? Jesus said in Mark 9:35 that if anyone wants to be first, he shall be last of all and servant of all. The way to put Jesus at the head of the line is for us to move to the back of the line, behind him and behind everyone else. And I, for one, find that extremely challenging. If I think again about my boarding position at the airport, I know that I've invested in that prized spot, and if I voluntarily move to the back of the line, I likely will end up with one of the worst seats on the plane. And that's what can happen if I choose the servant lifestyle that Jesus mentions, and I thus move to the back of the line. But as difficult and challenging as this is, it really is exactly what Jesus himself chose to do. As Philippians 2:6-8 says, although he existed in the form of God, did not regard equality with God a thing to be grasped, but emptied himself, taking the form of a bondservant, and being made in the likeness of men, being found in appearance as a man, he humbled himself by becoming obedient to the point of death, even death on a cross. For Jesus to be first, I must be last. His will and way must be the deliberate first choice, challenging as that might be. Now, you and I will not get this right today, but we will try with the power of God and Christ within us, and the right mindset that motivates us to do so, however imperfectly, will increasingly translate into the right action day by day. Well, thanks again for the special privilege of your time as we begin this new day today. God's rich blessings be yours today and always. Until next time.